Green Arrow number 26, Benjamin Percy writing, Stephen Byrne on art. This is the first official part of the hard travelling hero where Oliver's out on the road. Quite literally, he's on his bike, he's driving through.
Yeah. Good, he hasn't made it that far from Star City. I almost call it Seattle because he's in the mountains that surround
Yeah, he's still in the same state.
Cascades.
He's still in
Yeah.
Washington, so he's not gotten super far yet. But basically, he runs into the Flash, who's out there investigating because there's some weird Speed Force anomalies going on.
Yeah.
that's affecting stuff. And basically,
Speed Force Deer.
yeah,
Weird.
basically what it turns out is happening is that Black Hole from Flash, who as he describes to Oliver as the evil Star Labs, and the Ninth Circle are doing something together. They are working together to develop a Speed Force bomb, which they're going to set off in Washington DC.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we find out as the issue goes on. What a lot of the issue is, though, is Oliver and Flash not really trusting each other, and Oliver being a little bit uptight about it, and he'd be like, oh, so do you want to team up then? And Barry's like, nah, that's kind of the last thing I need right now.
Yeah.
So,
You.
yeah.
I do like that it continues the Barry and Ollie not liking each other, but both considering Hal their best buddy. Although I don't know if Ollie is still a buddy of Hal's here.
I'm not sure, actually. It's a good question.
Yeah, but based off of the last, small story of Flash, we had, we know that they're still cool. So, but yeah, I liked how dismissive Flash is here. And he's almost kind of a jerk, which I'm not used to Barry being.
It was really the funny thing is, though, is that I actually side with them because we've seen Oliver enough
me
to know.
too.
Because Oliver is a bit of a dickhead at times.
And he messes things up because he rushes in half cocked.
Yeah.
And when you have super speed, you really can rush in and deal with these things where you have a guy that's just going to kind of be an anchor,
Yeah, but I actually really like the whole bit where Oliver's like, yeah, I'm not much of a follower. That's why Batman and Superman don't let me in the league. And then Flash is like, no, actually it's because you're a jerk.
No. Yeah.
It's that simple.
I loved that. Although I do love, too, that he has that sense about himself. Like, because everyone's the hero in their own story. And here we're getting another perspective from Barry. So,
Yeah. I will say the art is mostly very good. Byrne is obviously a good artist. I do occasionally have a problem with his faces, where, like, for example, the first full page spread where Flash shows up. Go to the page and it's you. Barry's face, there's just something a little too
off.
Yeah, like, I mean, Byrne's got a very sort of cartoony style, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you just compare it to like Oliver's face, where Oliver's quite angular and it works, Barry's head's just super round, and it feels kind of weird. It's like his jaw's too wide, his smile's kind of weird. It's a bit off. It's a bit off for my liking.
I agree.
But otherwise, the art's very good, of course. I really like the colour tones in this, actually. It's a lot of... I mean, Green Arrow's used this a lot, but obviously you've got the green that contrasts, and then there's a lot of, like, orange hues in the background. Like, when it goes to the Emmy scene when she's talking to the lawyer, and it's, like, it's all these oranges. Like, she's wearing a green shirt, which I thought was kind of... Because, obviously, her colour's red now. She's Red Arrow. Like, she should be wearing red. If we're going by Power Rangers rules, she should always be wearing red.
Yeah.
But she's wearing green.
I do like, too, that this whole idea, because they point out that they have the same dad, very different moms. And now that we know that the queen is Moira, that's kind of running things, is she that different than Shadow?
That's a good question.
Like, I like that what they think is completely different to what we've seen.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a fun observation.
But, yeah, actually, I remember saying last issue, I really hope that whilst Oliver's away doing stuff, we get adventures of Dinah and Emmy, like, in the city, taking care of the city on their own.
Yeah.
And we don't actually get the scene of them taking care, but obviously they're setting up that we're going to maybe have this subplot running throughout the arc where they are dealing with stuff. They're dealing with underground men, and Dinah actually says, "Yeah, let's team up because you're going to go do it anyway. I'd rather you do it with me, where I can keep an eye on you and give you some guidance." And I will say, Emmy here feels a little bit less, I guess, Damien-like than usual. Yeah. She feels a little bit more. She feels a little bit more kid-like. Where that whole little moment where Dad's like, yeah, and you've kind of proven yourself to be a badass, and Emmy just goes, yes. It's like it's almost like a more of a typical sort of excited kid.
How old is she? Is she supposed to be like 14, 15? Is she older than Damien?
13, 14, I think.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on it, so I'm not going to...
Oh, that makes sense a little bit. Let her have her little kid moments.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm actually liking this running joke of the lawyer, like, being really mad at Oliver.
Yeah. Well, she should be, because he jumped on bail. Like, that's the one thing you're not supposed to do to your lawyer.
No, but
if watching lawyer shows...
Yeah, but even before that, when she first ran into him last issue, like, she was very... argumentative is probably not quite the right word, but she was very assertive.
He knows that she needs this, right, for her career. Because is she a public defender or no?
I don't think so.
Remember.
No, I don't think she's public defender.
I do know that she needs this case though, and that he knows that because traditionally Kate Spencer's Manhunter, like she takes over that mantle, and she always, she follows through. She's dogged. He knows that, but yeah, I get why she's upset because he is a jerk. Like we know this. Oliver Queen.
I just mean obviously she's got a legitimate reason to be upset with him now, but this isn't just new. Like she's had she's had this attitude with him since she met him, and I've just been liking this kind of running gag where, like, she's always got a temper with him. It's just it's fun. Like I'm digging it. But yeah, so that was kind of the subplot, and that sets up that they're going to go and fight the Underground Men. Actually, do you know what part of the art I really like? Now, obviously, this is maybe more of a post, I was going to say post-production. Like, this is more of a Photoshop effect than anything else. But I liked it when Oliver's, like, gearing up to go and find out what's going on after Barry's ditched him. He's in the forest, and he looks at this egg, and this bird with Speed Force comes out of it. There's a great little depth of field panel where he's out of focus, looking at the egg, and the egg's close up. I really like that touch. It's really nice. It is. Yep. I think it's a weird thing because I think typically when you think of like doing things after the fact in a computer to the art, that is typically seen as like a bad thing in comics, and often it can be. Like often it can feel kind of forced and kind of cheating and whatever. But depth of field is one of those weird things where you can't really achieve it in the art on its own.
Yeah, you have to use digital effects.
Yeah. And honestly, but depth of field is such a strong part of imagery. It's a strong part of photography. And I know it's not photography, obviously, but it's such a strong part of storytelling in that sense that I do kind of like seeing it from time to time. It's a really nice little shot.
Definitely.
So, we have a big action scene. They go in, they find, Nine Circle, Black Hole working together. They grab the scientist who, because he was close to the detonation of the Speed Force bomb, he rapidly ages in like 3 panels and dies, which I thought was a nice little touch. So that was a cool little moment.
Definitely
sets up this. So going to Washington DC, and they basically, all right, okay, we're going to team up now. Yes, team up, and they run off to Washington DC. Well, Barry runs, Oliver rides his motorbike.
Yeah, and we know Wonder Woman's coming next. And we know from the end of Rucka's run, she's in Virginia. That's close to DC. So
plus, it just says at the bottom next Arrows and Amazons, so that kind of tells you
that too.
That Diane is maybe stepping. No, admittedly, it could have been Donna.
Yeah,
or
could be
another Themyscirian, but no, her. I thought it was a fun issue of Green Arrow. I'm liking what it's doing. It didn't. I thought the Rise of Star City and Emerald Outlaw both started stronger than this one, but I am digging what they're doing so far, and I'm liking the chance for Emmy and Dinah to do their own thing for a little bit. I think that'll be fun to see as it goes on.